Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Myra from Low Carb Love. Now, most of you know I've lost over 100 pounds. So today I want to share with you one of my favorite recipes. I actually created this about 7 to 8 years ago, and I literally use it all the time. It's my condensed milk recipe, but it's sugar-free. Guys, I'm telling you, it tastes like the real deal without all that sugar. Okay, so that's one of the biggest things, because at the end of the day, the heavy cream that is in condensed milk is a go, right? If you're living a low carb lifestyle, you can have the heavy cream. The problem with condensed milk is that it is loaded with sugar. I'm talking about like 80 grams of sugar type vibes. Like, it is ridiculous. So we're gonna make it. I'm gonna show you how easy it is to make. And this is all it takes right here, okay? Now, I will leave the allulose that I'm using linked in the description below. Always make sure you check out the description. I always have everything that I use in there. If they're like specialty ingredients, I always have my meal plan link there. So if you are on a weight loss journey, you don't know where to start, or you know someone that is trying to lose weight, I do have a meal plan that it basically like holds your hand through the whole process, okay? So that is linked in there as well. But guys, this is it right here, okay? So we have the heavy cream. You want it to be heavy cream and not half and half, because the half and half doesn't have enough fat to make this recipe, okay? So this is not like a low fat. This is not like a low fat recipe. This is a sugar-free recipe. So it's gonna give you the richness. It's still gonna have the mouthfeel. It literally tastes like condensed milk. It just doesn't have the sugar. That is it. So we need heavy cream. Then you're gonna use your sweetener of choice. I'm using allulose because we are keeping it low carb and we are keeping it sugar-free. And then we have our butter, okay? Just some regular butter. And then we have our vanilla. That is it. So we're gonna move over to the stove. I'm gonna show you how easy this is to make. And guys, I'm telling you, you can go make this right now and you are going to thank me. This is one of those recipes that you can make so many different things with without derailing your progress. You're not gonna fall off the wagon. You don't have to feel guilty, and you can still enjoy some of your favorite desserts, okay? So let's move over to the stove and whip up a batch of homemade condensed milk. Alrighty, so the first thing we're gonna do is open up our heavy cream and pour in the whole thing. And now for the butter, we're gonna do half of this little guy. Okay. And everything just goes right in. Like you have, with some recipes, you first have to melt the butter and then you do this. Nope, throw everything right in. And then for our sweetener going in next. Okay. And our vanilla extract. And there you go. There you have it. We have our 4 ingredients. So what we're gonna do is we are just going to let this boil. Okay, so it's gonna take a little because obviously the heat was off. I've done it before where I have the heat on and then I start pouring in the milk and then it just gets kind of like, it starts to burn. So I like to just throw everything in, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't have to worry about it. And now you wanna take care of it because obviously we have to get this to boil. So we're gonna let it boil and then we're gonna simmer, okay? So let's just let this get nice and hot and then we will lower the heat. So I made a batch about a week ago and I didn't take care of it. And guess what happened? It all came up, spilled, made a huge mess. So don't do that. Don't leave it because it can get hot pretty quickly. Okay, and I wanna mention one other thing. So depending on your sweetener, that's the color of your condensed milk will vary. So like an allulose does slightly caramelize like as it's simmering. So mine does and will have like a little bit more color versus if you use like an erythritol or maybe like a monk fruit, it probably won't. The only reason why I don't use like erythritol or monk fruit is because the brands that I purchase usually have like a slight cooling effect And I personally just don't like it. Some people don't notice it. So just use whichever sweetener you have, but just know that depending on your sweetener, your condensed milk might be a little lighter or have just like a little bit more color, okay? Doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It just means that, you know, it'll have a little more color depending on your sweetener. Okay guys, so it's about 20 minutes in. This is what it's looking like. So it's still runny. It still hasn't started to really thicken up, but this is what you're looking for. So I'm gonna keep simmering, and then this is probably gonna take about another 15 minutes or so. And then once it's done, I'm going to show you how I store it and how I enjoy it. All right guys, so I just turned off the heat. This is what your condensed milk is gonna look like when it first comes off the heat. So it is a lot runnier, as you can tell. But now I'm gonna put it into my glass jar. You can put it into a mason jar. You can put it into whatever you want. Put it into the fridge, and then it will start to thicken up. So once it cools is when it will thicken up, okay? So it's gonna look just like this at first. So don't think that you messed up. This is how all condensed milk looks like when it's hot. Okay, so I've let this cool. Now, this hasn't been in the fridge. I just let it cool stovetop for a while, and I wanna show you how it's already thickening up. But in the fridge, this is going to finish thickening up, and then it's gonna give you that thicker condensed milk consistency that we're used to. But already, oh my gosh, guys, condensed milk is like literally my favorite. On toast, with strawberries, with a coffee, in a latte, in recipes. Like if it has condensed milk, I'm making it. I literally love it. So this is kind of how I keep it. I must have made a little extra today, but it'll last. I use it for my recipes. If I'm making like a really big recipe, like think of like the strawberry sago or something like that, you know, I make a little bit more just because it uses up at least like half cup to a cup, depending on how much I'm making. But like this, it will literally last me for my lattes. It'll last me for like anything that I'm making when I just want like a little sweet something. Guys, it is delicious, and it's sugar-free. So like you don't have to like fall off the wagon. You know, condensed milk, I don't know if you've ever read the back. It's a little scary. It's a little scary. It has, I mean, it's just loaded. It's basically sugar. It's milk and sugar. So, you know, like what are you gonna expect? Like you're having sugar on sugar. So in this case, you still get to have the taste of it. You still get to enjoy it without all that loaded sugar. So it works. I love it. Last time I made this recipe was probably about 4 years ago. I mean, in terms of a video, like where I filmed it. So I had to remake it. I had to show you guys that this is still like, this is like an essential in your refrigerator. This is something that if you've never tried making it, it tastes so much better than store-bought. And obviously, if you don't want to use a sweetener, use your sweetener of choice. But I'm telling you, it tastes so much better than store-bought. So make it, you're gonna love it. I will leave the exact recipe in the description below, but guys, you saw it is the easiest recipe to make. Throw in some ingredients, just make sure it doesn't boil, because it can boil and it will make a huge mess on your stove. So just make sure you're watching it. It's one of those recipes that it is worth the time. It does take maybe 20 to 30 minutes to make from start to finish, but then you get to enjoy a sugar-free condensed milk for the rest of the month. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, guys, make sure you show me some love. Go hit that like button, and please share this recipe. Guys, it is sugar-free condensed milk. Share this recipe with your friends, your familia, anyone who is living a low-carb lifestyle. Maybe they're on a weight loss journey, or maybe even trying to make healthier choices, or trying to, you know, go from things that are really processed into making things at home. This is a great recipe. It could be super, super helpful for everyone. But thank you so much for being here. I love you, and I will see you on my next video. Mwah.